Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about limerence and what the heck limerence actually is. So a lot of us in our lives will actually experience limerence at one time or another. It comes in different forms, but basically it's basically a state of mind, but it's also a chemical imbalance in the brain, or it becomes a chemical addiction actually, which you're getting a massive hit of dopamine, and your serotonin levels are all off. Usually they drop, and when your serotonin is like messed with, all of your reasoning and logical responses and rational responses kind of go out the window, and it's an involuntary thing. It's not something that you actually have control over at all initially, when you become limerent with somebody. It's not also always reciprocal. So often they will change stuff about them. They'll try and change everything actually about themselves to accommodate that person, or to try and get that person to reciprocate it. And it's not a choice. It's not a choice they have. You need to hear me when I say that, because it's such a imbalance in their brain, and it mimics, I guess, love, limerence is a form of romantic love. When you first get with somebody, you experience limerence, and when that limerence wears off, you can have one of two things, right? One of three actually. So when you first get with somebody, you do experience a romantic love, right? Or it's romance or butterflies or whatever you want to call that chemical reaction. It's a chemical reaction. Your dopamine hit, your serotonin levels and all of that are messed with, right? And so you always want to see that person, you always want to be with that person, da 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 da. And as time goes by, the limerent bubble bursts, and they are no longer shiny, or whatever you want to call it. You're not longer in limerence with them, and what you're left with is like either a solid relationship, which turns into marriage, children, da 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 da, and then and a deep connection and all of that, or you have a deep friendship. It turns into a deep friendship or a deep connection that way, or the bad side of the limerence is it turns into, you realize once your limerent bubble has burst that that person is quite toxic to you, and you miss, little parts of that person that you're chasing. That's probably the best way I can describe it actually. When your limerent bubble bursts with somebody who isn't right for you, who isn't safe for you, or who isn't your person, or your friend, or your lover, or whatever, and you realize that you actually don't have anything with this person, they're quite toxic for you, you begin to want to chase that feeling again, that high again, and that's what is what it is. It's a chemical addiction, and you want to chase that again. You want to have that feeling again. Here is the kicker: you cannot, once you have burst that limerent bubble, once that shine has disappeared and you see that person for who they are, and you have realized that you cannot get that high back with that person. You cannot get that feeling back. Person with limerence, who has a limerent object, doesn't always know that initially. So they will chase that high again, that I want to feel that again, and so they will remember little snippets of I remember when we did this and that was a good day, or I remember that was a good moment, da, 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 da. And they'll chase that again, and often they will chase that by having sex with that person, because when you have sex with that person, you're getting that dopamine hit, but it's short-lived, and often afterwards you have a low, like a hell of a low, and so you and then you try and chase it again. It's continual, like until you take steps to stop that. When you recognize, though, that you are in limerence with somebody, so you recognize it, but you still can't stop it, and I can't stress this enough, this is not your choice. Yeah? It is, do not feel ashamed, do not feel bad, do not, condemn yourself or, belittle yourself or anything like that for what you are going through, because it is not a choice that you have currently. Yeah. So when you have burst that limerent bubble and you see that person for who they are, and that person isn't a friend, or that person isn't, going to be your future wife or husband or whatever, and they're actually bad for you, you have to take steps to basically starve the source of the limerent reinforcement. View the limerent object as a danger to your well-being and mental state, because that's what they are, and that's what you are to them, because they will often not be reciprocating at all, but they will like the feeling of you doing stuff for them, you going out of your way, you trying everything within your power to get that feeling back, to get that, familiarity, to get that, like, that dopamine hit again, and, to have that imbalance again, because you don't know what that is. Like, you don't know that that's what that is. You think it's love. You think you're in love, and you're not. You actually, it's not even the person that you're addicted to. Yeah, take that for a moment. It's not even a limerent object that you're addicted to. You're actually addicted to the chemical imbalance. That's what you're addicted to. You're addicted to that dopamine hit. You're addicted to that imbalance in your serotonin. That's what you're addicted to. And when you realize that, and your brain is saying to you, like, when you have and when you're not around that limerent object, can I just say, when you're not around that limerent object and you're not getting that hit, that constant hit, your logical and rationality comes back to you a little bit. You're still obsessed with them, that, until you take steps to make that go away, that's still going to be there. You're still obsessed with them. You still want, the best for them. You still want to be around them. You're still chasing. You are still chasing that high, that maximum high, but you're not going to get that again. Yeah. So when you aren't around them, you're like, oh my God, this person is so bad for me. What the hell am I doing? Why am I chasing this person? Why am I doing this? And all of your friends, all of your family are telling you the same damn thing. But it's almost like you're being driven. You're like a magnetic pull, like you're being magnetic, like a magnetic pull to that person. Oh, if I can just, show them how much I love them. If I can just show them, how much I care. If I can just be there for them all the time. If I can just listen to them, vent, or, if I can just make love to them and make them feel better about themselves, because they're then getting a dopamine hit as well. It doesn't work. Yeah. And you're gonna torture yourself, and you're going to just, like, it takes over your life, and you end up like damaging relationships around you, friendships, relationships with your family. You end up lying, just to try and get to this person, just to try and but what you need to know, and I know I said this earlier, what you need to know is this isn't your fault. Yeah. When you realize what's happening, when you realize that you are in limerence with somebody and they're your limerent object and you're chasing that chemical high, when you do that and you have that clarity, and I'm sorry to say, you'll be feeling shit. Like, you'll be feeling so down and so demoralized, and woe is life. I hate this. I hate this. And you will say that to yourself, I hate this. It is the worst feeling in the world when you are in limerence with somebody you cannot have, or you're in limerence with somebody that is bad for you. Yeah, worst feeling in the world, and it is an addiction. And that's what you need to realize. It is an addiction. So therefore, you need to take steps to withdraw and to basically get over this addiction. Yeah. So you basically, if this person is toxic and bad for you, you need to cut contact. And I mean, like, really cut contact, like have nothing to do with them. Because if you have nothing to do with them at all, no calling, no, trying to like coax them back or anything like that, nothing to do with them all. As the days go by, it will get better for you. You will heal from this and you will get over your limerence, because the limerent bubble has already burst. So the limerent bubble's already burst. You already know that person is bad for you. You're just chasing that high again. You're not going to get it. Simple as that. You're chasing like that feeling, brief feelings that you had with that person, but it's not going to work. It's not there anymore. Yeah. So, you just need to accept that it's an obsession, accept that it's an addiction and not love. Yeah. And once you've done that, you then need to basically withdraw. You need to withdraw. So you need to get rid of them from your life completely and take the steps to heal. Because if you don't do that and that person has access to you and tries to contact you and stuff like that, and you might need to take extreme measures to get this person out of your life, when they contact you again, that moment of hope comes back. That moment, and it's a small dopamine hit, but it's enough. It's enough, because it's a drug. It's enough to make you go, maybe I can have that again. Maybe that's familiar to me. Maybe I can have that again. Okay, I'm gonna see where this goes. And then you realize, after you've chased it, that you can't get it again, and you are right back where you were before. You're right back at that feeling crap because you're withdrawing, right? You're withdrawing. What I imagine from it, like what withdrawing from a drug would feel like, is like horrible. Like you probably can't sleep properly. You are doubting yourself. You're putting yourself down. You're questioning all your other relationships, and you're questioning your life. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Kind of thing. And you feel a profound loss. It is a profound loss to you at that time, but the profound loss isn't your limerent object. It's this glaze that you had, which is the chemical reaction. That's the loss that you're feeling. Yeah. So it's limerence can be a good thing, and it can be a really bad thing. So normal limerence with somebody, it's like that feeling you have when you first meet somebody, and like you're attracted to them, and that whole normal feeling you get when you I guess falling in love, or somebody just connects with you. That's still a form of limerence, and that's a healthy limerence, right? So that's healthy limerence. So that then turns into either a healthy relationship, marriage, or friendship, connection, whatever. That's healthy limerence. Toxic limerence, obsessive limerence, like true obsessive limerence, is dangerous. It's dangerous to your well-being. It's dangerous to your whole mental state. It's dangerous to your life. Yeah, because like any other drug, this chemical addiction will zap you of your life force if you don't knock it on the head. Yeah, if you don't withdraw, if you don't starve the source of your limerent reinforcement. Yeah, so you that's what you need to do. Yeah, so basically that's the course of action. And like limerence, if you aren't aware that you're in limerence, and you have that chemical addiction, and you are continually chasing, and you're not having those moments of clarity, limerence can last a year, sometimes 2 years, but generally it only lasts a couple of months, like 2, 3, sometimes 6 months, but like a few months, because it turns into something healthy, like something normal. Once that limerent bubble has burst, it turns into true love, or that deep connection, true friendship. That's what it turns into. But if you aren't aware of that, like, it's dangerous. Like, so you need to take those steps, and you need to take those steps seriously. You need to have ways where they cannot contact you at all, and you cannot contact them at all. Yeah. And you need to have self-control, and you may even need to see a therapist. Like, if you have a bad limerence obsession, you may need to seek professional help with that. So here's what you need to know as a friend or family of somebody suffering from limerence. When you are on the outside of somebody who's suffering from limerence, you kind of like, what the hell are they thinking? Like, what are they doing? Like, when you're on the outside, you're like, like, what are you doing? Like, this person's bad for you. Like, what the hell? What you need to understand as a friend or family member is they don't have a choice. They don't have the choice at that stage in their life until they realize that they are in limerence. It's like, I guess it is, what I imagine like being addicted to a drug feels like when you decide you want to get sober, or alcohol, whatever, right? When you decide you want to get sober, when you decide within yourself, this is not the life I want to live, this is not the person I want to be, I am surrounded by so many great, amazing people, what the hell am I doing, doing drugs or alcohol or whatever, or in this case, in this limerence case, what the hell am I doing with this person when everybody around me is telling me it's bad? I know it's bad. I'm aware that it's bad, but I can't stop myself. Yeah? So what you need to realize as a friend or family member of somebody in limerence is they currently don't have a choice. They are addicted. So you need to just support them. Be there for them for whatever the hell they need. Just be there for them. Whether that's them venting to you, whether it's like you need to preoccupy them and go and do something fun, or whether you just need to talk, or whatever you need to do, be there for them and understand that they are, without a doubt, going through hell. I cannot reiterate that enough. They are going through hell. They are going through hell within their heart. They are going through hell within their head, and they can't balance that, because this is so unbalanced that it's not balancing, it's not checking, and their brain is telling them, I know this is wrong, I know this isn't right, I know this isn't healthy, I hate this, and sometimes they'll even say, I hate myself for this, but what you need to realize is that person's going through hell, so be there for them, yeah, because they cannot help it. Right? And whatever they need to help get through this with it, whether that's help getting counseling or whatever, because it's the only way they're going to get through this. You can't make somebody get sober. I know majority of people know this. You can't make somebody get sober. You can't make somebody stop taking drugs. Somebody who's suffering from limerence, somebody that is really struggling, don't discard them. Don't go, oh my God, you're being such an idiot, and you just like, what are you doing? This is not who you are. This is not, this is not the person that I thought you were. You're always sad, or like, depressed or angry, or your moods are so up and down. Try really hard not to spend too much time by yourself, because when you're by yourself, it's like your brain doesn't stop. And even though like you're not talking about that person or anything like that, your brain doesn't stop, and it's always, your brain's always going to want to go to the happy places generally, right? So it's, especially when you're in limerence, it's always going to be wanting to go, you're chasing that high. So you're always going to want to go back to that happy place. Oh, I remember how that made me feel. I remember how, they were during that time. Oh, if I can just get that back, if they can just be that person again. But the reality of it is that person doesn't want you. It's not reciprocated. Definitely, I mean, when you're in limerence with somebody, sometimes it is reciprocated, by the way. And then when the limerent bubble bursts and you realize they're bad for you, then you need to kind of escape a little bit. But and if that person, like, doesn't want you to, then obviously no contact, etc., kind of gets a little bit harder. Actually, it gets torturous. But it's when you are spending a lot of time by yourself, especially during like the really pivotal stage of where your limerent bubble has burst, and you basically went, this person's really bad for me, I can't be around them anymore, I can't and you do everything right. You cut contact, and then they find a way of contacting you again, and you're right back where you were again. You are right back there, and you're right back in that feeling of crappiness, because when you try and make it work again, it doesn't work, and that. You deep down, that it's but you are still chasing that feeling again, that dopamine hit, but your serotonin level has leveled out again, so even if you are getting that dopamine hit, you're not getting that imbalance in your serotonin, so because you can't reach that again with that person. So you realize that, and then that pit happens, that deep pit in your stomach. You're like, I'm right back where I was. Why am I doing this? Because it's still an addiction, and sometimes you're going to fall off the freaking horse. It happens. Just get back on, get back on that damn horse. Make sure the saddle's secure, and because you're in for a freaking rough ride, and hold on to the people around you, rope them in as well, get them on the back of your freaking horse, because you are going to need them. So don't hide away. Do not hide away. It's the worst thing you can do, if I'm honest with you. Don't hide away. Don't blame yourself. I can't say that enough. This is not your fault. Don't blame yourself, because I know you're going to. We all do. But this is not your fault, You're in a bad way, and you need people to help, because that's, part of, being in a limerent state, is that you can't do it all on your own. So you need to reach out and grab other people around you, whether that's family or friends, or a therapist as well, because they're your rehab. And cutting contact with that person is part of your rehab. If they're toxic to you, cut the contact, really cut the contact, and you may have to go to extreme levels to do that, but you need to do that. So guys, I hope that kind of makes sense, and I know I rambled a little bit, because I often do, but so I hope that makes sense and clears up what limerence actually is. It is a chemical addiction, it is a state of mind, and it's a cognitive response, to that chemical addiction, which makes you obsessed, get obsessive traits, and which is why it's so closely linked to OCD. Or it's not linked, actually, that's the wrong term to use. It's not linked, but it's similar to any other drug addiction, or OCD, but limerence is something you can get past. It's something you can get through. You just have to, especially if you become aware that you're in limerence. It is being aware. What do they say, like when you have an addiction, or like, you know, alcohol or something, the first step is recognizing there's a problem, right? Recognizing that you have an addiction. Yeah. So if you're aware that you are you know, in limerence, and you know what that is, and that it's like this aha moment, right? It's this aha moment where you're like, okay, everything makes sense to me now. This all makes sense. Like it all lines up. Like, you know, because I was like thinking I was going, you know, actually crazy. You know, thinking that, like, you know, this is not who I am. I've never had this feeling before. Like, I've never felt this way about anybody before. And you know, you're right. You haven't felt like this about anybody before, but it's not love. It's not love. It's limerence. You know, and limerence in the good form is a form of romantic love, you know, and it turns into something beautiful. But once the limerence bubble is burst, but if it's not, it can spiral and turn bad, which obviously I've just gone over. So, you know, hopefully, you know, that explains it a little bit, and also the ways of actually, you know, helping you get through, you know, being in limerence with somebody, and basically getting rid of that limerent object from your life when they're toxic to you. Okay, so thank you for listening. You know, if you liked my video, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.